You're in bed, the lights are off, your eyes are tired, your brain knows you should sleep, but your hand reaches for your phone anyway. Just a quick check, one notification, one message, one scroll, and suddenly it's 1:37 a.m. So why does this happen to millions of people every single night? Why does a tiny glowing rectangle have the power to keep your brain awake when every part of your body wants to sleep? The answer involves dopamine, evolutionary psychology, and a reward system in your brain that was never designed for the modern internet. Nighttime phone checking has become one of the most common behaviors in the digital age. People open their phones dozens of times after getting into bed, sometimes without even realizing it. And this behavior isn't random. It's driven by a combination of brain reward circuitry, social media algorithms, and a powerful psychological mechanism called intermittent reinforcement. In other words, your phone isn't just distracting you, it's interacting directly with your brain's dopamine system. So today we're exploring why late-night scrolling is so hard to resist, how the attention economy exploits ancient neural systems, and what this behavior reveals about how human brains respond to modern technology. Human brains evolved in environments where information meant survival. Thousands of years ago, noticing new information could mean spotting a predator nearby, a hidden food source, or a change in the environment. So evolution built a brain that constantly asked one question: is there something new I should know? That curiosity is powered by dopamine, a neurotransmitter involved in motivation and reward. But dopamine doesn't just activate when you receive a reward. It activates when your brain expects a possible reward, and that difference changes everything. Inside your brain is a network called the reward circuitry. It includes areas like the ventral tegmental area, the nucleus accumbens, and parts of the prefrontal cortex. Together, these regions regulate motivation, anticipation, and learning. When something positive happens, dopamine levels increase. Your brain records the experience and encourages you to repeat the behavior. But here's the key detail. Dopamine spikes most strongly when the reward is unpredictable. This is called a variable reward schedule, and it's one of the most powerful behavioral drivers ever discovered. Casinos figured this out decades ago. Slot machines operate on intermittent reinforcement. Sometimes you win. Most of the time you don't. But because the reward is unpredictable, your brain keeps trying. Each pull of the lever creates a burst of anticipation. Now think about what happens when you unlock your phone. You check your messages. Maybe there's something exciting. Maybe there isn't. But your brain knows there could be, and that possibility is enough to trigger the dopamine system. Every notification becomes a miniature reward lottery, which means your phone is basically a portable slot machine for your brain. During the day, your prefrontal cortex helps regulate impulses. This region of the brain handles decision-making, self-control, and long-term planning. It's the system that says, you should probably sleep instead of scrolling. But late at night, something important happens. The brain experiences cognitive control fatigue. After a full day of decisions and mental effort, the prefrontal cortex becomes less effective. Meanwhile, the brain's reward system stays active, so the balance shifts. Impulse wins, self-control loses, and the phone suddenly becomes much harder to ignore. Checking your phone at night doesn't just affect behavior, it also interferes with your sleep-wake cycle. Human sleep patterns are regulated by circadian rhythms, which are controlled by a small region of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This internal clock responds strongly to light. When your eyes detect darkness, the brain releases melatonin, a hormone that signals the body to prepare for sleep. But smartphone screens emit blue light wavelengths similar to daylight. When your eyes detect that light, your brain assumes it's still daytime. Melatonin production drops, alertness increases, and your body delays sleep, which means every time you check your phone, you may be telling your brain to stay awake longer. But dopamine and blue light still aren't the full explanation. There's another psychological force involved: fear of missing out, often called FOMO. Humans are intensely social animals. For most of human history, social exclusion could be dangerous. Being disconnected from the group meant fewer resources and less protection. So our brains evolved to monitor social signals very carefully. Modern technology amplifies that instinct. Social media constantly shows updates, messages, likes, and comments. Each one is a potential signal of social connection, which means ignoring your phone can feel like ignoring the group, even when you're alone in your room. Phones don't just deliver information. They are deliberately designed to maximize engagement. The modern attention economy revolves around capturing and holding human focus. Social media platforms use algorithms that analyze user behavior in real time. These systems predict what content will keep you scrolling longer, and they deliver it in an endless stream. This is called infinite scroll design. Unlike books or television episodes, there's no natural stopping point, no final page, no closing credits, which means your brain never receives a signal that it's time to stop. Instead, the content just keeps coming, and your reward system keeps chasing the next piece of novelty. Over time, this behavior forms a habit loop. Psychologists often describe habits as a four-step cycle: trigger, action, reward, memory. For nighttime phone use, the trigger might be something simple: lying in bed, feeling slightly bored, or noticing your phone nearby. The action is opening the device. The reward might be a message, a funny video, or an interesting post. Even if the reward is small, the brain records the sequence. After enough repetitions, the behavior becomes automatic. You stop deciding to check your phone. You just do it. Ironically, the habit becomes stronger when you lose sleep. Sleep deprivation reduces activity in the prefrontal cortex, weakening self-control. At the same time, it increases sensitivity in the dopamine reward system, which means tired brains become more impulsive. That creates a feedback loop. Phone use reduces sleep. Reduced sleep increases impulsive behavior, and impulsive behavior leads to more phone checking. The first smartphones appeared in the late 2000s. At first, they were mostly tools, email, basic apps, simple communication. But as mobile internet speeds increased, digital platforms began optimizing for user engagement. Push notifications appeared, recommendation algorithms improved, and social networks introduced systems of likes, shares, and comments. Each one acts as a tiny signal of social approval, and each one can trigger a burst of dopamine. Within a decade, the average smartphone user was checking their phone hundreds of times per day. A behavior that barely existed 20 years earlier had become one of the most common daily habits on Earth. The average person touches their smartphone more than 2,000 times per day. Many people unlock their phones within 5 minutes of waking up. Nighttime phone use has been linked to shorter sleep duration and reduced sleep quality. Some studies suggest that the anticipation of notifications can raise stress hormone levels, and even when notifications are turned off, the brain may still expect them, which means simply knowing your phone is nearby can create a subtle sense of anticipation. Your brain keeps wondering, did something new happen? The reason you can't stop checking your phone at night isn't a lack of discipline. It's the result of several powerful systems interacting at once. Ancient neural circuits designed for curiosity and social awareness. Modern technology built around variable rewards and constant novelty. And a sleep cycle that becomes easier to disrupt when your brain is tired. Together, these forces create a behavior loop that feels almost automatic, but understanding the science behind it reveals something important. Your brain wasn't designed for a world of infinite notifications and endless information streams. It was designed for survival in small social groups. So when you reach for your phone late at night, your brain is simply doing what evolution trained it to do, searching for the next piece of information and hoping it might be important. If you enjoyed exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday behaviors, there's a lot more fascinating science behind the things we do without even noticing. And sometimes, understanding the brain is the first step to outsmarting it. If you enjoy exploring the hidden science behind everyday habits and the strange ways our brains interact with technology, consider subscribing to the channel. New videos break down fascinating psychology, neuroscience, and everyday mysteries in simple, fast-paced explanations. And if this video made you think twice about your late-night scrolling, you're definitely not alone. Your phone was meant to serve you, but at night, it often does the opposite. Because the real battle isn't between you and the screen, it's between your intentions and your brain's reward system. If you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday habits like the video, subscribe to the channel and stick around for more.